Latest that we have for you, Sudip Bandhopadhyay has been arrested after being questioned by the CBI in the Rose Valley scam. He's the second Trinamool Congress MP to be arrested in this case, intensifying really the face-off between Mamata Banerjee and Prime Minister Modi. Some would say the CBI, after having questioned Sudip Bandhopadhyay for many hours, has finally arrested him. We are, of course, looking at the repercussions and the political fallout of this. But remember, this is the latest update that we are getting you in the Rose Valley scam. The TMC leader, this MP to be arrested, is Sudip Bandhopadhyay. And joining live is my colleague Tapas. Tapas, what's the latest that you have on this?
Sudip Bandhopadhyay reached at this office of CBI here in CGI complex, and the interrogation began from 11 a.m. and there was a marathon interrogation. The two-session interrogation were carried on, and the second session is still being carried on. What we have learned from the sources within the CBI that the Trinamool Congress MP Sudip Bandhopadhyay has been arrested, and basically the charges of him gaining out of Rose Valley group in different time and different manner is the basic charges. There were factual papers on the table, and also the details of the accounts and other financial statement, which Sudip Bandhopadhyay could not really explain the reason why he took those money, and those were mouth-watering money. And not only that, his close aides were also got employed in Rose Valley group of companies. 2 Europe trips were sponsored by Rose Valley, where he went along with his wife Mamata Banerjee, who also happens to be a Trinamool Congress MLA. And in those trips, Gautam Kundu, the chairperson of the Rose Valley group, also accompanied them. So there were multiple questions, and some questions came up while CBI interrogated Taposh Pal since last 3 days, and those questions were also put forth to him, and CBI sources say that he was concealing facts, and finally CBI had no other options but to arrest him. But exact under which section he has been arrested is yet to be confirmed by the CBI. But what we learned from the sources that he is likely to be taken to the Bhubaneswar tonight, where he will be interrogated by a team under joint director level officer there in Bhubaneswar, and finally he will be produced in the court subsequently, and CBI would will seek his custody there. So it remains to be a big blow to the Trinamool Congress as of now, because first Taposh Pal, and within a span of 4 days, another veteran leader from Trinamool Congress, Sudip Bandhopadhyay, has also been arrested by the CBI. Back to you.
And he's already said that this is political vendetta against the Trinamool Congress, which is his party, and him and Taposh Pal in particular, by the NDA Rule Center, which also controls the CBI, he said. So how does this play out politically in West Bengal?
Well, exactly. So it seems to be a war of words between the Trinamool Congress and the central government, because if you remember, 4 days back, Mamata Banerjee held a press conference there at the State Secretariat, where she said that after Taposh Pal, the press conference took place immediately after Taposh Pal was arrested, and she said that she has a list of 7 or 8 people who will be likely to be questioned by CBI and maybe arrested also. So that would come only because the Trinamool Congress has been spearheading the campaign against the central government, against their policy of demonetization. But she said that this will not demoralize their entire protest. But yes, this comes in a wake when Trinamool Congress is trying to leave a mark at the national level. And Trinamool Congress from the day one has been saying that it's a political vendetta which the central government is trying to impose on this Trinamool Congress in order to break the party, in order to tarnish the image of the party. First, Taposh Pal we have seen in Rose Valley case, and now again the veteran leader from the Trinamool Congress, Sudip Bandhopadhyay, who has been arrested and will likely be taken to Bhubaneswar tonight itself. Back to you.
Right, and do shed some light on how big this scam is and how many people it has affected. According to some reports, it's 7 times bigger than the Sharda scam, and lakhs of people have been duped.
Well, absolutely. So Rose Valley is much bigger than the Sharda scam. You are absolutely correct. It's around 7 times or more than what Sharda scam had impacted the entire economy. But as far and there was a time when people, at least one people from every house was related to Rose Valley, and there has a huge amount of money collection, and which were rooted in different ways, including Hawala and other businesses like the hotel business, like the film production business in here in West Bengal, in Tollywood, and also in Bhubaneswar. Different enterprises were open. And another serious charges against Sudip Bandhopadhyay is that while he was holding a portfolio of the central government, he lobbied in favor of Gautam Kundu, the chairperson of the company, to expand his business in different states, and also also tried to manage the finance ministry officials there during that tenure, and which resulted in which went in favor of Rose Valley Group of companies, and hence he could operate fearlessly for over years now. But yes, now the exact details of those involvements are not clear, but these are the specific involvement which have been which have come up. But yes, he was asked by CBI officers today that why did he take went to 2 trips to Europe along with his wife, and what was the reason, but no concrete answer was given from part of Sudip Bandhopadhyay. So these remains to be the main reasons to nail Sudip Bandhopadhyay. But again, this is a big blow to Trinamool Congress, who is trying to step into the national arena with a clear, transparent picture. This has come as a big blow. First Taposh Pal, and now the veteran leader Sudip Bandhopadhyay. Back to you.
Right. This is, of course, a huge case that does impact the Trinamool Congress, and we are looking at the repercussions. Of course, Fawad Halim joining us on the phone line. Your first reaction, the second arrest of a senior Trinamool leader in the Rose Valley scam.
Well, one has to keep in mind that in the Chit fund scandals that have broken out in West Bengal, one after the other, the elected members of the Trinamool Congress of the office bearers have been arrested. If you look, Kunal Ghosh, he was a member of the Trinamool Congress represented in the Rajya Sabha. Then you had Mr. Sinjoy Bose, he was also a member of the Rajya Sabha on behalf of the Trinamool Congress. Then we had the cabinet rank minister Madan Mitra from the Trinamool Congress. Like this, there was a series of leaders, you know, who, Mr. Rajat, who was the senior vice president of Trinamool Congress. So the people of West Bengal know very clearly that in all the chit fund scandals that have taken place, is the Trinamool people who have been involved, and the few arrests, which are not few in number, but in fact it doesn't encompass the entire spectrum of those who are involved. So it is a paltry number. All have come from the Trinamool Congress. The question is very clear: whether the CBI is going to take this investigation to its logical conclusion and get the bigger head, the biggest head who's been involved in this chit fund scandal, who's benefited the most, whether the CBI will show the courage to go in that direction or not, or whether it's going to peter out after some time between the BJP Trinamool understanding, where they blow hot and blow cold.
Who are you referring to when you say? Who are you referring to when you say the
It's
bigger
very clear. The painting that Mamata Banerjee sold for crores of rupees, and where did that money come from? Where is that trail of that money coming from? How did the chit fund sponsor that? That needs to be investigated. In fact, the Chief Minister of West Bengal is the first person who the CBI should invite for questioning. They are dragging their feet on it, and it's been going on for the past 5 years. Most unfortunate thing. Let us see whether this build-up is actually going to reach its logical conclusion or not, or whether it's going to peter out after some time, as we've seen with other what we call Trinamool leaders, where after a point of time they get bail and then everything goes back to normal.
It's very interesting that you say, Mr. Halim, that the CBI is dragging its feet in this case, because the Trinamool Congress is saying the exact opposite. They're saying that the centre is using the CBI as a tool for political vendetta.
Well, you see, the Supreme Court has already said that the CBI is a caged parrot. Whether it's converted itself to an astrologer's parrot or not, where we come out, pick a few envelopes and then go back into the cage by itself. Now, that's the question can only be answered when the CBI takes this investigation to its logical conclusion. Let's be very clear. 130 people have committed suicide because of the chit fund scandals. There are thousands of people who have lost crores of rupees, people who had put in money for their children's weddings and future education. They have been devastated, and we are getting no justice from the investigating authorities. You know, this arrest, which everybody in West Bengal knows who's involved with it, and this arrest, which is coming after 4.5 years of investigation. What type of investigation is being conducted? One has to be very clear about that. Is there any sense of justice prevailing? Having said that, even this arrest is acceptable, but it has to move ahead to its logical conclusion. Let the CBI close the cases, let it form the charge sheet, let it appear in trial, and let's get some semblance of justice on the table.
Why do you think the CBI isn't doing all that needs to be done?
Well, if you look back at the two years of 2.5 years of Narendra Modi rule, of the 46 to 50 odd bills that have been passed in the Rajya Sabha, the Trinamool Congress has supported it in 40 bills. That's a very clear indication as to the bonhomie that the Trinamool shares with the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Bonhomie, that the West Bengal Chief Minister said that the centre was planning a coup just a few weeks back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This souring of relationship has just taken place over the last 6 to 8 weeks. And this souring of the relationship, whether it's going to sustain or not, one doesn't know. It's a blow-hot, blow-cold relationship. The people who suffer at the end of it are those people who do not get justice. The 130 people who have committed suicide in these chit fund scandals, their relatives are not going to get justice. Blow-hot, blow-cold. Sudip is in. We already know Madad Mitra is out of jail. We already know Kunal Ghosh, the MP from Trinamool, is out of jail. We know Sinjoy Bose is out of jail. Mithun Chakravarti has put in his resignation and more probably negotiated a sort of what we call peace and truce in this regard, which is why he's left politics. So all these things are happening. But what about justice? The casualty is justice.
Okay.
Justice delayed is justice denied, and justice doesn't seem to be closing itself on this case.
All right.
So that still remains.
Mr. Halim, thanks very much for your time and for sharing your thoughts with us. Saurabh Sanyal, one of my senior colleagues, joining us on the phone line. Saurabh, the second Trinamool MP, the second Trinamool leader being arrested in this particular case. The Trinamool Congress is saying this is political vendetta. Very interestingly, the left is saying that this is some backroom deal that goes on between the centre and the Trinamool Congress. And when relations sour, we see arrests.
Well, the left, we can say that what the left is saying at this point in time definitely, can be traced to the fact that there was a lot of pressure, there was a lot of steam which the Sharda investigation had gathered at the initial phase. When Trinamool Congress MP Mukul Roy had been summoned and questioned for hours together, not once, not twice, but more than that. But then everything apparently went into cold storage, and there was this apparent bonhomie between Bibi and Prime Minister Modi, which came to the fore. But now we see that after the demonetization drive was announced by the Prime Minister, there was a repeated attack from the Trinamool Congress, particularly Mamata Banerjee herself, who stepped up the ante against the centre, and she held rallies across the country. She tried reaching out to people, and she has been categorically stepping up her attack against the Prime Minister for deploying a army as a part of the routine exercise that was done in West Bengal, where she said that she compared it with a military coup. Then subsequently she raised questions as to why CRPF was being sent in for IT raids during the demonetization drive. And now Bibi has gone on already to say after the arrest of Tapas Pal that, she dares Prime Minister Modi to come and arrest all the party leaders and even MLAs, but still she will not stop in attacking the Prime Minister. So the left is actually coming from that point that as and when the relationship between the two parties, between Trinamool and, the BJP at the center, as and when the complexion of the relationship changes, that is when we see these arrests taking place. That is when we see suddenly the investigations gathering place. Because Rose Valley Palki, one has to remember, is not a new case. This is a case which has been in the pipeline, and CBI was inquiring into it for long, but so far we have never heard any forward movement as far as Rose Valley case is concerned. So the question which Mamata Banerjee's camp is saying, what the Trinamool Congress is saying, this is political vendetta, that is coming from the point of view that why now? So that is the Trinamool's question, that is this only because the Trinamool has been upping the ante against the Prime Minister? Is that the reason why the Trinamool MPs are being singled out and targeted? What I can also share with you, Palki, at this point in time, possibly Tapas Pal and Sudip Bandhopadhyay, two MPs of the Trinamool Congress who have been arrested by the CBI in less than a week now. They are not the only ones. We are getting to hear from our sources that more MPs might actually be called in for questioning, MPs who have had dealings with the Rose Valley group per se. And this Rose Valley scam, Palki, as you were correctly pointing out just a short while back, it is about 7 to 8 times bigger than the Sharda scam. So this is a scam. All Ponzi schemes were floated, and these Ponzi schemes, flourished under the willful eye of the Trinamool Congress, so to say, in West Bengal. Also, it spread its tentacles in the east and northeast, in states like Assam, in states like Odisha. Particularly this Rose Valley case, under which Sudip Bandhopadhyay has now been arrested, pertains to a case which has been registered in Odisha. So clearly, the government trying to send out a signal that the CBI is acting and is following up on the investigation leads, and that is why these arrests have become necessary, since the MPs, when they were questioned, the MPs could not come up with satisfactory answers. But the political temperature for sure is rising this winter, Palki, because we see the Trinamool Congress already lashing out and saying that this is yet another example of political vendetta. And left for the moment is adopting a wait-and-watch policy because they are not quite sure as to where this will go from now, whether this again will go into cold storage. Because remember, Trinamool Congress had suspended Kunal Ghosh, its party MP from Rajya Sabha, who was arrested by the CBI in connection with the Sharda scam. But then again, he's now out on bail. So where will the investigation go from now? That is something that one really has to look out for.
Very, very interesting, Saurabh, and very significant developments. The merits of the case legally aside, in political terms, pure political terms, these are very, very interesting developments. Mamata Banerjee over the past few weeks emerged as one of the tallest opponents to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his demonetization scheme, trying to stitch together a coalition of sorts of opposition parties here in Delhi, holding rallies through the heartland of this country. And now this politically is being seen as retribution for that opposition that Mamata Banerjee launched against the Prime Minister. And you are saying that more MPs are going to be questioned. So I'm going to repeat the question that the CPM leader asked. How far will the CBI go this time?
Will be the crucial point, and that essentially would be the pivot around which the investigation will pivot around from now. Because where will the investigators, who is next in the pipeline, where will the investigation go? These are big questions. And what we're picking up from within the Trinamool Congress camp, already rumblings have started. There are very, very prominent leaders. We are withholding names as of now because we do not want to send out any wrong information at this point in time. But what our sources are firmly telling us, there are many leading faces within the Trinamool Congress who might be called in for questioning, and that questioning is going to happen very, very soon. So we have already seen two senior MPs of the Trinamool Congress being arrested. Sudip Bandhopadhyay, in fact, is a veteran politician, and he has years of experience with him. The CBI had been summoning him, but he decided not to answer to his summons. He said that he is going to come in only at a time as and when he felt it was right. And today he came there, and then as the CBI felt that he could not answer the questions appropriately after 4.5 hours of questioning, he has finally been arrested, and he would be flown to Bhubaneswar tonight. Exactly the same sequence of events, Palki, so to say, as what he saw in the case of Tapas Pal, was again flown to Odisha, and CBI took custody after he was produced in an Odisha court. So once again, similar sequence of events playing out. But Palki, I will reiterate once again, what we are picking up from the ground isn't very good news for the Trinamool Congress, because more MPs, very, very prominent leaders from the Trinamool Congress, could next be in the questioning line.
Right. Saurabh, stay with us. And Tapash, I'm also going to